Thank you very much, everyone, for coming here. This is quite unexpected. You know, we only announced yesterday we were going to do this. We have an opportunity, a press opportunity, and for you all to come out here today, it really does our heart really good. We appreciate the support. And what we're here to talk about is, in just a few moments, matter of fact, not far from here, Scott Murphy is going to announce that he is running for re-election. And what we're here today to do is to welcome him to the race. You know, I don't need to tell you, times are tough. Too many of our neighbors are out of work. Congress continues to spend at a rate that threatens to bankrupt our country. And you know, our country, this exceptional nation, we've been in tough times before. Think about Valley Forge, you think of the Depression, the early days of World War II, and we know we can get through this. With the right choices, our best days are still in front of us. But to make the right choices, we need the right leaders. And that's what this campaign's about. Yeah! Our overarching aim is to renew the Republic and to restore American greatness. And we have three broad goals: to grow the private sector economy, to create jobs, to balance the budget by reducing federal spending, and to protect our freedoms from threats from abroad and from encroachment from here at home. Our policy proposals, our plan, simply, is for targeted tax and regulatory relief, to repeal and replace that health care bill with a new one that's based on the fundamental principles of competition, transparency, and tort reform, and to reduce the size of the federal bureaucracy and to cut spending. That's our plan. And you know, how did we arrive at that plan? Well, very simply, we listened very carefully to small business owners and their employees, and to retirees. And whether it be manufacturers, contractors, builders, doctors, or farmers, you know, their message is very clear to us. And that is, we know that they have the know-how, the knowledge, and they've got the work ethic. Their issue is profitability. And they're being strangled right now by too much taxation and regulation, and we need to remove the impediments to growth. Our plan, that's right. With targeted tax and regulatory relief and to repeal and replace that health care bill, we will help the profitability of small business owners. And when they are more profitable, we know that they're going to recapitalize. They'll buy new equipment, and they'll also expand, and they'll hire new workers. And with middle-class tax relief, we'll have a true stimulus for our economy. And you put those two things together, when you put the more bottom line for our small business owner with more in the pocket for ordinary Americans, and that is what's going to grow our economy. Common sense solutions to the problems of our time. Now, my opponent, he says he's a fiscal conservative. And we say, with all due respect to the gentleman from Missouri, show me. Show me. Because, you know, you look at Speaker Pelosi, and she'd be the first one to tell you she's no fiscal conservative. She'd be the first one to tell you. But yet, our representative votes with Speaker Pelosi nearly 90% of the time. And you look at the big issues before us. In the year that Mr. Murphy has been in the Congress, the health care bill. The health care bill that was recently passed that we believe we're going to see higher premiums, more taxes, more regulation, and continuing growth of big government. That's not fiscal conservative legislation. And then you look at cap and trade, based on this elitist theory that if you put a cap, if you tax carbon emissions, that you'll drive down demand. Well, what happens when you're a farmer or you're a manufacturer and you have inelastic demand? What are your choices? Are you just going to stop farming? And of course you're not. And as Kevin Bowman, who owns an apple orchard not far from here, said, you know, his problem is he just hasn't found a solar-powered tractor yet. Now look, you know, the cap and trade, the Senate Democrats just walked away from that. They recognize the fact that there are smarter ways to balance the environment and the economy. But we won't forget the fact that our representative voted for that bill that was going to harm our manufacturers and harm our farmers. And we stand against that. We're going to stand with our blue-collar workers. We're going to stand with our farmers. And we're going to look for smarter ways to balance the environment and the economy. You look at card check. This is a piece of legislation that would deny a private ballot to workers on whether or not to unionize. And our representative co-sponsored that in his earliest days in the United States Congress. We opposed that legislation. And that Mr. Murphy, was full-throated in his support for the stimulus. You know, the Glens Falls Post-Star recently did a story on this. And it found that at the Saratoga Springs zip code, $19 million worth of stimulus money. It created 18 jobs. Wow. We're not going to grow the economy from Washington, D.C. We're going to grow this economy by removing the impediments to growth and listening to our small business owners.